Man, I cannot tell you what it is like to get an honor like this in this very city I started from. In fact, little trivia for you. The first show in this very room, I was the first comedian on stage. It was me, a guy named Brian Regan, and some dyke named Ellen DeGeneres. We didn't know she was gay back then. We were all trying to get some pussy. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a comedy club. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be America's last safe place to say what you feel like saying and laugh at what you feel like laughing. This is sacred ground. Yeah, the jacket is fresh as fuck. Oh!
Fucking my.
Hey, Ron. How are you? I'm going to piss.
It looks like you just got back from beating up motherfuckers. First time anyone ever brought me on stage. Guy named JT Newton. I don't even know. Is JT alive? Oh. Seriously?
He lives in Long Island.
Well, that's good news. You ever think a nigga was dead, but he just lived in Long Island? I went to the comedy club with my very best friend. We're still friends to this day. We showed up early. It was 5 o'clock. Back in those days, all you had to do to be a comedian was show up early enough to sign the list. It was 20 spots. I came right after school. I picked 7. My best friend at the time picked the 5th. He bombed. He didn't make it. JT introduced me. He said, folks, everybody's got to start somewhere, and tonight, this young man is starting here. I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, you might be witnessing the birth of a star. Please welcome Dave Chappelle. I went by myself, but by the time I went on, my mother, who was here tonight, and her mother, who is no longer with us, showed up. I begged you not to come. Oh, I begged her not to come. I said, the only way I can handle this is to confront it. So I went to my grandmother and I said, listen, Nana, listen. I'm going to say you some things tonight that you have never heard me say. And Mom, you'll appreciate this. Do you remember what your mother said to me?
She said, I've heard worse.
No. She said, baby, do this shit. It was on. I guess what I'm trying to say to you, Mom, not only thank you, but I told you so. I'm from Washington, D.C. Chocolate City. Us niggas are pronoun. We have very thick skin. We don't shy away from the jokes. In fact, humor was our mode of survival. The only reason I never got my ass whooped on these streets is because niggas knew I'm hilarious. I was getting ready to start high school. We had a principal named Ralph Neal. That nigga had just seen Lean on Me and was walking around with a bullhorn like that was him. I had just gone to middle school in Ohio. I was gone for 3 years. In the 3 years that I was gone, crack came out. I came back to Washington. You guys remember crack, don't you? You remember what it did to this city. That's why it's strange to see so many white people jogging and pushing strollers and things. Because all these niggas in D.C. did the heavy lifting. We did the hard part. This is a black city. They call it Chocolate City, not because shit has nothing to do with chocolate. That was niggas. Shout out to Washington, D.C.'s mayor, Muriel Bowser. I gotta tell you, you're a very special person to me. We're only a year apart, and you run our city wonderfully. I walked into my old high school. Man, Mary arranged a $150 million renovation to the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I was so jealous of the students there. You really mean the world to me, and you really did a blessing to this city. And thank you, and thank you. Sincerely. I've never voted in Washington, but God damn it if I did, I'd vote for you. And you know what? If you smoke crack, I'd still vote for you. I know you wouldn't. But if you ever want to indulge yourself, you got that kind of wiggle room with me.
Are we gonna make love tonight? As friends.
Happy to say now.
Oh, you smell delicious. Because I love him so much. I'm like I'm very emotional person. You know this. I'm gonna cry for you.
I swear to God, I've never seen an art form purer than stand-up comedy. It puzzles me that people are confused if this is an art or not. Man, talking shit is an art. Talking shit is an art. Ain't that right, Mary? All the stand-up comics in the room, just want to remind you, I promise you, and I've always said it, we have the best genre. We don't have to know anything but what we know. And everything we know is valuable because of what we do with it. Stay true to yourself. Fuck the game. The money will come. Most of you won't make it. I'm gonna be honest. I heard an interview with Patton Oswalt, famous comedian, started 1 week apart from me. Patton says in an interview with Terry Gross, you know how Terry goes, yes. Patton said to Terry Gross, he said, Terry, nobody does good their first time doing stand-up. And he stopped. I was driving in the car listening to this interview, and he goes, okay, Dave Chappelle did good his first time doing stand-up. I smiled from ear to ear. Patton didn't tell Terry is the next 7 or 8 times were fucking terrible. But the first time was so motherfucking good. It'd be like the first time you had sex, and then the second time you were having sex, somebody hit you in the head with a sledgehammer. This is not nearly as good as the first time. But you know what? Maybe someone won't hit me in the head with the sledgehammer the 9th or 10th time.